Now we have with us Mr. Asif Aqeel. I hope Mr. Akeel's audio is working. Mr. Aqeel, would you like to take
I
over?
hope so, if you can hear me this time.
Yes, please go ahead.
That's good. Thank you very much for inviting on this forum. Uh, Earlier it was Mary James Gill who was supposed to present on this forum, but she had some emergency and she couldn't make for it. When we are discussing about labor and democracy, one thing is what we know, that democracy provides protection for workers because everyone matters in this form of government. Democracy empowers workers by providing them freedom of association and coming together and demanding for their rights. Simply put, we can say that democracy ensures rights. But in Pakistan, democracy has been in chaos, and we know all of us are aware of it. Resultantly, workers from marginalized backgrounds have suffered a lot. One category of workers is sanitation workers who suffer hatred, discrimination from the society and from the state at the same time. This is exactly the same how manual scavengers are treated in India and other countries in South Asia. So the same situation is with the workers in Pakistan. These workers, in 2019, we conducted research at the Center for Law and Justice. The research was titled Shame and Stigma in Sanitation. This research recognized that sanitation workplace is unhygienic, life-threatening, and precarious in nature. The workers are provided with no safety equipment when they pick up trash, clean roads, open sewer lines, in manholes, and clean open drains. They are susceptible to skin, lungs, and other communicable diseases. Those who clean roads, they are further vulnerable to accidents. And those who work in manholes are further vulnerable to poisonous gases. Dozens of workers each year die in road accidents and manholes during work. Despite so much danger they suffer, most of the workers are not regularized. They are paid only very small amount, and even that amount is not regularly paid. The treatment of being the threat of being unemployed is always kept open so that these workers are coerced into life-threatening and dangerous work conditions. In recent years, we have repeatedly seen strikes by workers due to being unpaid. Most of the time, the government departments, not about the private sector, but the government departments, they give work to third parties. So the third party contractors, they hire these workers, and then they are not subject to any state laws. So even if they pay or they don't pay, this all does not matter to the government. Last few days back, on Easter, several workers they held a strike in district Faisalabad, and thankfully Mary James Gill, who is recognized in running a campaign on sanitation workers, she timely took action on it, and some of the members of this forum, they also helped, and the workers received payment only a day before Easter. It is not that all low, and this is important, that not all low-paid workers are treated like this. For example, guards and drivers and gardeners, they in government departments are not treated the way sanitation workers are treated by the government. And there is one particular reason, particularly with that, and Mr. Wilson Bajwada has very well articulated it how it is in India. There is a caste system, and most of sanitation workers come from such Dalit background. At the same time, one important aspect is that most of sanitation workers are from non-Muslim background. Pakistani state recognizes Islam as the religion of the state. At the same time, the state requires only non-Muslims to work as sanitation workers. Non-Muslims account for about 4% of the total population, but most of them come from Dalit background. For example, Hindus, more than 80 or 90% of them are scheduled caste. And then the second largest minority are Christian. Almost 90 or more, 95% Christians come from the Dalit background. That's why they are synonymously called Chura, and they suffer that name calling. So what we see is that what we are doing we have done in the recent years. One, that we are advocating with policymakers based on our research that this treatment should end. Secondly, we are running a campaign titled "Sweepers are Superhero." By this, we are highlighting the plight of sanitation workers on one hand, and also we are saying that these workers are doing a very important work which cannot be neglected by the state and by the society at the same time. Thirdly, we have gone to the Supreme Court of Pakistan. We have filed a petition and we are asking that all such policies that require only non-Muslims to work as sanitation workers, it should end. Through all this work, we are demanding respect, safety equipment, and financial security for these workers. So we can conclude that there is a weaker form of democracy in Pakistan, and there is weaker protection of workers, particularly those who come from disadvantaged backgrounds, like manual scavengers in Pakistan. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I think, like was mentioned in the chat as well, it's very interesting to see the way in which, after Mr. Wilson spoke, how similar conditions really exist in Pakistan, and the conditions of workers over there, and the way in which they are also compelled to perform this work without even basic safety equipment, without which one can't even imagine the kind of hazards that they must be exposing themselves to.